Robert Thompson and John Venables. A mother looked away for less than a minute. That was enough. On February 12, 1993, 2-year-old James Bulger disappeared inside a shopping center in Bootle, England. At first, nobody panicked. Children wandered off all the time. Then security cameras revealed something horrifying. Two older boys leading James away by the hand. The boys were calm. James trusted them. And the strangest part was their age. They were both 10 years old. For hours, they walked James through Liverpool while adults passed by without stopping them. Some even asked questions. Is he okay? He's our brother. We're taking him home. We're bringing him to the police. And because they were children themselves, people believed them. Nobody stopped them. Eventually, the boys led James to a railway line, hidden from public view. There, away from witnesses, they attacked him with extreme violence and left his body on the tracks. 2 days later, Britain saw the CCTV footage. The country became obsessed almost instantly. Newspapers called the crime evil. Psychologists struggled to explain it. Parents looked at their own children differently afterward, because this case shattered something people thought they understood. Adults kill, teenagers kill, but 10-year-olds? That felt impossible. Police quickly identified Robert Thompson and John Venables after releasing the footage publicly. During questioning, both boys blamed each other for the worst parts of the attack. Investigators uncovered deeply troubled childhoods, violence at home, and severe behavioral problems long before the murder happened. But none of it answered the question Britain kept asking: can children who commit something this horrifying ever truly change? Both boys were convicted and later released at age 18 with new identities. Robert Thompson reportedly disappeared quietly into anonymity. John Venables later returned to prison multiple times for crimes involving illegal images of children. And every time his name returned to the news, the same debate returned with it. Amarjit Sada. The most disturbing part of Amarjit Sada's case is not his age. It is the silence around him. In 2007, police in Bihar, India, questioned an 8-year-old boy after a baby disappeared from a local school. Witnesses had seen him nearby shortly before the child vanished. At first, investigators expected denial. Instead, the boy calmly confessed. His name was Amarjit Sada, and according to police, this was not his first victim. He admitted responsibility for the deaths of 3 infants, his cousin, his younger sister, and the missing baby police were searching for. He was 8 years old. According to reports, the first death happened after Amarjit was left alone with his infant cousin. The child died, and instead of contacting police, the family covered it up out of fear and shame. Then, another baby died. This time, it was Amarjit's own sister. Again, nobody reported him. Only after a third child disappeared did the outside world finally learn what had been happening inside the village. That is what makes the case feel almost unreal. The adults around Amarjit reportedly suspected what he had done, and still, he remained free. Psychologists later described Amarjit as emotionally detached and disturbingly calm. Some believed severe neglect or neurological problems may have contributed to his behavior. But the legal system faced an impossible problem. What do you do with an 8-year-old serial killer? India could not try him as an adult. Amarjit was placed in a juvenile facility until age 18, then released under a new identity. Today, nobody publicly knows where he is, which means somewhere, under another name, the world's youngest known serial killer may be living an ordinary life. Mary Bell. In 1968, police in Newcastle, England found the body of a 4-year-old boy named Martin Brown inside an abandoned building. At first, investigators believed it was a tragic accident. Then strange notes began appearing nearby. One message read, "We did murder Martin Brown." Police assumed local children were playing a cruel prank. They were wrong. The person behind the note was 11-year-old Mary Bell. Mary's childhood had been filled with severe neglect, instability, and abuse. People around her described her as manipulative, emotionally cold, and strangely fascinated by suffering. Then another child died. 3-year-old Brian Howe disappeared while playing outside and was later found dead. This time, investigators immediately knew someone had deliberately killed him. Police quickly focused on Mary and her friend Norma Bell, who behaved strangely during questioning. Norma eventually told investigators that Mary had confessed. Britain watched in shock as an 11-year-old girl stood trial for killing children. The defense argued Mary's traumatic upbringing had psychologically damaged her beyond normal understanding. Prosecutors argued she knew exactly what she was doing. The jury reached a compromise. Mary Bell was convicted of manslaughter due to diminished responsibility rather than murder. She spent 12 years in secure institutions before being released under a new identity. Her case permanently changed how Britain viewed violent children. Because the deeper people looked into Mary's childhood, the harder it became to separate the killer from the abused child she once was. Jesse Pomeroy. Long before modern psychology had words like psychopath, America had Jesse Pomeroy. By 14 years old, newspapers were already calling him the boy fiend. Jesse grew up isolated and heavily bullied because of a medical condition affecting one of his eyes. Over time, that isolation slowly turned into violence. At age 12, he began luring younger boys away from crowded streets with promises of games, money, or adventure. Then he attacked them. The assaults became increasingly brutal and disturbingly calculated. Investigators quickly realized this was not random childhood violence. Police eventually arrested Jesse, and he confessed with almost no emotion. He was sent to reform school but released early after his mother begged for leniency. 6 weeks later, children began disappearing again. In 1874, investigators searched the Pomeroy family property and discovered the body of 10-year-old Katie Curran hidden inside the basement. Jesse confessed again. America became obsessed with the case. Some people believed Jesse was mentally ill. Others believed he fully understood everything he had done. The courtroom slowly turned into something bigger than a murder trial. It became a national argument over one terrifying question: can evil exist inside a child? Jesse was sentenced to death, though the punishment was later reduced to life in prison. He spent the rest of his life behind bars and died in prison after 58 years of incarceration. Even near the end of his life, he reportedly claimed there was something inside him he could not control. Cases like Jesse Pomeroy's were part of the reason America eventually began searching for words like psychopathy, criminal insanity, and conduct disorder in the first place. Craig Price. In 1989, police in Rhode Island believed they were hunting a violent adult serial killer. The crime scenes looked too brutal otherwise. Instead, the killer turned out to be 15-year-old Craig Price. Craig appeared normal to most people around him. He played sports, socialized easily, and lived only houses away from his victims. But 2 years earlier, at age 13, he had already committed murder. That first case remained unsolved until Craig killed again, this time murdering a mother and her 2 daughters. Police eventually connected him to both crimes after noticing injuries on his hands and searching his home. Craig confessed to killing 4 people before age 16. The murders horrified the public, but what came next shocked people even more. At the time, Rhode Island law prevented juveniles from being tried as adults for murder. That meant Craig could only remain imprisoned until age 21. The backlash was enormous. Many people believed the justice system had completely failed. The case forced Rhode Island to rewrite its laws regarding violent juvenile offenders. But Craig never actually walked free. While incarcerated, he repeatedly attacked guards and inmates, adding years to his sentence. Today, he remains in prison, and his case exposed a terrifying weakness in the legal system. It was never designed for children capable of violence like this. Jasmine Richardson. When police entered the Richardson home in Alberta, Canada in 2006, they believed 12-year-old Jasmine Richardson had been kidnapped. Inside the house were the bodies of her parents and her 8-year-old brother. Then investigators searched Jasmine's bedroom. They found violent messages and conversations with a 23-year-old man named Jeremy Steinke, who claimed to be a 300-year-old werewolf. Within 24 hours, police found Jasmine and Jeremy together, not kidnapped, together voluntarily. Jasmine had become deeply involved with Jeremy online after her parents tried to stop the relationship. Over time, the conversations between them became darker and more violent. Eventually, they began discussing life without her family. Then the fantasies became real. Jeremy entered the family home through a basement window, and Jasmine was later convicted of helping plan the murders. At 12 years old, she became one of the youngest multiple murder offenders in Canadian history. The public immediately split over the case. Was Jasmine a manipulated child groomed by a dangerous adult, or someone fully responsible for helping destroy her own family? That question still follows the case today.